Hi everyone, I'm Julie here with Yoga's Arc, and I'm going to lead you through a prenatal postnatal class today. I'm going to begin just by reading a disclaimer. Yoga's Arc wants you to put your health first. This is an activity that requires physical exertion. Please ensure you're in the proper shape to do yoga, and if you're unsure or you have an existing medical condition, please consult your physician before beginning any yoga regimen. So with that, I'm going to just tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Julie. I have been teaching yoga for close to 3 years. Before that, I was a nurse, and the first 8 years of my nursing career were spent in labor and delivery. So I love prenatal, postnatal yoga. It's something that allows me to combine two things I'm very passionate about. In this class, I am going to use some props. If you don't have props, don't worry, I'll give you an alternative. Perhaps you've got some yoga blocks at home. These are blocks. You could also use a book or a couple of books. I've got this big pillow. This is a bolster. If you're wanting to substitute something for a bolster, think maybe couch cushion. This is really stiff. I can't bend it. It's not like a regular pillow. And then I'm sitting on a blanket. That's just for comfort. I use the blanket under my hips. I use it under my knees when I'm on hands and knees. So with that, we'll go ahead and begin. For our first pose, we're going to take the two blocks. You'll place one on its lowest setting, one on the second highest setting, and just place those towards the end of your bolster. And then you can take towards the end of your mat. You can take your bolster and let that come to rest on the blocks. So I've got this nice incline here. Now, if you're practicing today postpartum, you won't need to use this. This is just so you're not laying flat on your back when you're pregnant. If you are in your first trimester, you can lay flat on your back. And if you don't have any kind of setup like this, just do this first part sitting upright. That'll work out just fine. One last housekeeping, I do have my iPad over here and I use that to look at time. So if you see me messing with it, that's all that's happening. So once you've got this set up, if you're going to use it, go ahead and bring your hips right up to that bolster. As you roll back, the bolster is going to support your head. If your head's hanging off the edge, you'd want to scoot your hips down a little. Let those arms come out to the sides. Feet could be planted with knees bent. If you're doing that, maybe knees falling in together feels good. Could do feet together, knees wide. Could do legs extended. Let's take one hand, we'll place that to the top of the belly. Second hand to the bottom of the belly. Let those eyes softly close. I'm going to have you rest here on your back, just relaxing into this pose and taking a few minutes to give yourself some peace, some relaxation. Things that we don't always have time to do or the opportunity during a regular day. We're going to take about 1.5 minutes. We'll breathe together in silence. Wherever you're resting, notice if you can let any tension come out of your body. Allow yourself to relax and just breathe. go ahead and open the eyes, staying wherever you are. We're all going to bend our knees, plant the feet. If you're sitting, just place those hands behind your hips so you've got support. And think about walking your feet as wide as the mat. And then let those legs go over to the right and go nice and slow here. Inhale, both knees back to center. Exhale, let the legs drift to the left. Back to center. We're going to go back and forth. It's like your legs are windshield wipers, but it's just a light drizzle. It's not a torrential downpour. Breathing into this. If you're like me, you're going to scoot a little bit on the mat as you do this. This is one way to open up the hips, just releasing into the hips. Let's do one more to each side. We go to the right, back to center, and left. So if you're sitting up, we're going to come to a cross-leg position. If you're resting on your back, roll to your right side, and then take a moment, just find your way back up to a comfortable seated position. From here, nice tall spine. Let your chin come to your chest, ear to shoulder, head drops back. Nice slow rotation through the neck. Always moving slow when we're working with the cervical spine. These are our smallest vertebrae in the body. We don't want to push. If your body says don't rotate, listen to that. Next time your chin comes to your chest, let's go ahead and reverse. We'll go the opposite direction. Again, nice and slow. I think of this as unwinding. You can even close your eyes here. Just a very nice, relaxing way to move. And when chin comes to chest, let's go ahead and lift our heads up. We're going to bring our legs open into a V. It doesn't matter how wide your V is, just find one that's comfortable. Bring those hands forward and clasp your hands. And just like you rotated through the neck, we're now going to rotate that spine way down in the pelvis here. And I like to move my arms as though I'm stirring a very large pot of food. I actually call this making the Christmas dinner because I have a very large family. When we come center, notice which thumb's on top, put the opposite thumb on top, and stir the other direction. And next time you come center, hands by the hips, bend those knees. We're going to extend the legs out in front of us. Feet will be hip width apart. Hands can rest by the hips, or you can sit upright without the support of the hands. Rotate the ankles. Think about pointing the toes as they go away from you and flexing the feet and even spreading the toes wide as they come towards you. And then go the opposite direction. So these three moves we just did, we rotated our neck, we rotated the spine, and now we're rotating the ankles. I call this unwinding. And you know, in America, unwinding typically means something different, so this is a way for you to unwind when you're pregnant. Let's go ahead and come on to hands and knees. If you've got props on your mat, just take a moment and push those off to the side so they're not in the way. And if you like to have a little extra cushion under the knees, go ahead and take that blanket and just place that so it's going to be comfortable for you. We're going to let our shoulder, elbow, wrist be in one nice line. Hands are going to turn out. My pinky fingers are actually to the edges of the mat. My knees are under my hips. And as I inhale, I'm going to drop my belly, letting the back of my head, the tailbone, go up to the sky. Not my chin stays down. As I exhale, I tuck chin, tuck tailbone, round my back to the sky. Inhale, my belly drops. This is cow pose. Exhale, I round up into cat pose. So keep moving like this. And this is one of the exercises where I really want you to notice, what does your body want to do? Do you want to move a little slower, a little faster? Maybe you want to hold the cat, hold the cow. Maybe you get a nice pop out of your spine. I just did. And then as you finish with the cat pose, coming back to all fours, let's go ahead and turn those left fingers forward. You're going to bring that right hand out in front of you. Thumb is pointing towards the sky. You can stay right here, or if you'd like, you can extend that left leg back, maybe even flexing into that foot. Now, if you're pregnant, hold right here. If you're postpartum and you're definitely recovered, and I'm thinking like 6 months postpartum, perhaps you're going to draw right elbow to left knee and extend, and right elbow to left knee and extend. You choose. You're either going to hold or you're going to draw elbow and knee together. We're all working our core. And then let's bring that right hand down, left knee down, setting up for the second side. Bring that left hand up, thumb is pointing towards the sky. Extend the right leg back, holding here. If you're holding here, think of those hips being nice and level. And if you want to, you draw left elbow to right knee and extend. Elbow to knee and extend. So either elbow to knee with extension or holding. Make sure you're breathing, whatever you've chosen. Left hand down, right knee down. Let's step our hands a little farther forward. Tuck the toes so my toe prints are on the mat. This time as I exhale, I press back. It's going to stretch my back body. That should feel pretty good. And then as I inhale, I come to center. Next exhale, I drop my hips, little back bend. And then back and forth like this. Inhale takes me center. Exhale, I'm going to press back. Inhale, center. Exhale, back bend. So just like when we did the cat-cow, and I encourage you to listen and notice what does your body want. Think about finding that here. Maybe your body says, hey, let's sink back and hold the whole time. That's the stretch we need. Maybe you want more back bend. Maybe the speed I'm moving at isn't quite right for you. Let's come forward one more time. And then as we come to neutral, we're going to walk our hands back. Tuck the toes if you untucked them. We'll lift those hips up and back for downward facing dog. Knees can stay bent the entire time here. I'm going to grab my blanket while I'm here and get rid of that. And then maybe just lift and lower one heel and then the other. And let's go ahead and walk our hands back to the feet. So you're in a forward fold here. Now, mostly what I want you to do in a forward fold is to relax your head and neck. You can see my knees are not straight. This is more comfortable for me to keep a bend in my knees. If I wanted to straighten my knees, I'd use a block. Definitely be a bigger stretch up the back of my leg. Don't be worried about getting your hands to the floor. Just keep that head and neck relaxed. You could also bring your elbows onto your knees. Breathe here. And as hands come onto the hips, we're going to gently roll ourselves up, finding our way to a nice, tall, standing position. Hands stay here. Let's go ahead and step our right foot forward, plant that left foot out at an angle, arms next to the ears, maybe a little back bend here. This is warrior one. Inhale back to center, exhale, hands to the heart. Open up those hips, find your warrior two, facing towards that left or right knee. We'll bring that right palm to the sky, left palm to left thigh. Up and over you go. This is reverse warrior. And then bend that right elbow, bring it to the bent right knee. Stretch that left arm up to the sky. You can always keep that hand down on the hip as well. Now imagine I grab that left wrist and I pull you up. Hands come onto the hips. And let's turn. Toes in, heels out. We're coming into a forward fold. Think of the heart leading you. Chin's gonna stay tucked down. So my heart leads, and I'm gonna let my hands come down to the floor. Choices again here. We've got blocks. We could place hands on the block. It's pretty easy to get your fingers to the floor. Maybe you're going to turn them away from your toes. So toes are pointing one direction, fingers another. And then again, relax the head. Let the head and neck go. Breathe here. And as we're ready, we'll turn those hands back, fingers and toes pointing the same direction. It's okay to have your hands on a block here. And let's just go side to side. We bend the right knee, center, bend the left knee, center, back and forth. When you come out of this class, you're going to have nice, relaxed hips. Your mind will definitely be relaxed, but this is probably the body part you'll notice the biggest change in. Last one to the left. When you come to center, hands on the hips. Nice flat back. We're going to come up to standing. And this time we'll turn our left toes towards the front of the mat. Can plant that right foot out at an angle, maybe even step it up a little bit. Bend into that right knee, arms next to the ears. Notice if you want to have a little back bend. Warrior one. Inhale, center. Exhale, hands to the heart. Opening up those hips, you're finding your warrior two. Front knee, front toes, both pointing frontwards. Let's go ahead and flip that left palm to the sky, right palm to right thigh. Find your reverse warrior. And then our side angle pose. Bend that left elbow to the bent left knee. Perhaps right arm goes to the sky. And again, imagine I grab your right wrist, pull you to standing, hands on the hips. You can heel toe your feet in until you can safely step your feet together. I want you to find something to look at that's not moving. A wall, a piece of furniture, not a person, not a pet. We're going to do some balance. Bring your hands to your heart center. Let's go ahead and ground through our left leg. And we'll find tree pose with the right. So tree pose may be toes on the ground. Perhaps I'm bringing the sole of the right foot to the inside of the left leg. I'm drawing all my muscles into the midline. And then maybe I'm going to extend my arms up to the sky. Again, check in, make sure you're breathing. As we exhale, hands to heart center, turn that right knee forward, just lift, that's your hip flexor, and put that foot down. And take a moment before we do the second side, shake it off. And then once again, we're looking at something that's not moving. We're bringing hands to heart center. This time we're going to ground through the right foot. We'll find tree pose with the left foot. Toes on the ground. Sole of the left foot can come anywhere on the inside of the right leg if you'd like. If you come out of it, you just come back. Maybe this time you keep the prayer, release the index fingers, let those arms go up to the sky. Keep breathing. Beautiful. Exhale, hands to heart center. Turn that left knee forward. Whoop. Lift and let it go. Shake it off. So this is great. When you fall out of a balanced pose, your body is learning. Your nervous system is actually learning new things. So don't feel bad when you come out of a balanced pose. It happens. Feet are going to be hip width apart. Big inhale. Circle those arms up. Exhale right down through the heart. Inhale, we go up. Exhale down. And one more. Inhale up. This time, follow those hands. We're going to come right down to the mat. Find your way to all fours. Let's go ahead and touch the big toes together, knees wide. Let those arms extend. You can bring your forehead down to the mat for child's pose. If your forehead doesn't want to come to the mat, make a couple of soft fists. You can support your head that way. You can even grab that bolster. If you've got a bolster you're working with, place that between the legs and just let yourself relax. I'm going to have you relax here, taking a few breaths, and take a moment and just check in and notice, how do I feel? How did you feel when the class began? How do you feel now? Remember, today we're working on a little bit of peace, a little bit of relaxation. Close your eyes, rest, allow yourself to be present, and breathe. Let's go ahead and open the eyes. We're going to find our way back onto our hands and knees, and we'll be here for a few minutes. So if you like, take your blanket and place that so it can be underneath the knees. And once you're here, let's go ahead and step that right foot forward for a lunge. So there's a lot of options when we're lunging. One is for me to have my hands on my thigh. I'm upright. I can press down through this back leg. That'll help to stabilize me. Other options, I might want to roll onto the outer blade of that front foot. Just change the stretch a little. I can bring my hands onto the mat. I could also step this left knee back a little bit, then I'll be in a bit of a longer lunge. Sometimes it feels good to straighten that front leg, maybe a little bit, maybe a lot. And if you're like me, you're probably going to try every one of those and just see which one feels good. Give yourself permission if you come into a pose and then you think, gosh, I'm so sorry, I tried that version. Go to a version that works better for you. I'm asking you to lunge, to open up your hips. I'm not worried about how you do it. Of course, if you're pregnant, I want you to have nice open hips for when you go into labor. If you're delivered, we all can use this because we sit so much in our society that our hips get really tight. So just find something where you can breathe. We're almost there. Stay with it, just a couple more. So carefully, hands onto the mat, bring that right knee back. You're back in an all fours position. And this time we'll step that left foot forward. We're gonna do the same thing. So remember, hands on your thigh. This is perfect right here. This is the most accessible variation for me. Can always rock onto the outer blade of that front foot. You can bring hands to the mat. You can let that back knee come back a little so you're in a longer stance. You can also straighten into that front leg, whatever that looks like for you. Give yourself permission to play with this. Lunges, I do like to do lunges, and if you're here for longer than you'd like to be, use it as an opportunity to practice breathing. So if you are pregnant, you're going to want to breathe to get through labor. That's one of the greatest tools you can use. If you're delivered, you're going to want to be able to breathe to get through parenting. In parenting, being able to take a deep breath and calm yourself down is essential. Parenting really never ends. I have children in their 30s and 40s, and I'm thrilled with them, but there are still times when they tell me something and I tell myself, breathe, and then we'll deal with it. So just know, the ability to take a deep breath, change your world is huge. Let's take just a couple more breaths here, whatever variation you're in. Once again, we start by bringing our hands to the mat. We bring the left knee back to join the right. And then we're just going to walk back so that we're sitting hips to heels. If this is not a good variation for you, please sit cross-legged. We're going to do a little more work for our neck. Let's go ahead and bring our right arm next to our ear, wrap it around to the left ear, and then gently draw right ear to right shoulder. You're going to open up the left side of the neck. It should feel nice, and my hand's just guiding. It's not tugging. Again, maybe it feels good to close your eyes just to relax into the stretch. You have this wonderful advantage doing this at home. You're the class, so you don't have to worry. How does this look? Do I have on the right yoga pants? You're perfect, exactly as you are. Let's release the hand, inhale back to center. Second side, we bring the left arm up to the left ear, wrap it around the head. This time we're drawing left ear to left shoulder. Nice stretch on the right side of the neck. Check in that you're breathing. If we ever get to a situation where we hold our breath or we're gasping, it's the body's way of saying, let's make a different choice. And as we release the hand, bringing both hands to the hips, just lift up. You're going to be standing on your knees. Let's go ahead and extend that right leg out to the side. We'll plant the foot, right hand onto the right leg, left arm next to the left ear. Gently open up the left side of the body. This is gate pose. So we did some back bends early on. We've done some forward folds. This is a side bend, and later we'll do twist. Those are just some of the ways your spine moves. It can feel pretty good to relieve some tension. Let's inhale to center. Bring those hands down. You're looking for a stretch on this inner thigh right here, so you can stay here. Or perhaps you bring the elbows down onto the mat. And if you came down onto the mat and you thought, oh, no, that's too much, just come back to the hands. Breathe here. So those movements for the spine, you could do those sitting in a chair, just noticing. Maybe at work you're noticing, gosh, my back hurts. If you're working from home, take a moment, stretch. Let's bring our hands back to the mat, press up, bring that right knee in to meet the left, and we come back to standing on the knees. Second side, let's extend the left leg, plant the foot. Bring that left hand onto the left leg. It's not pressing, it's just resting. Right arm next to the right ear. Open up the right side. Breathe here. So if you're pregnant, side bends are probably going to feel really good because you literally are running out of space every day. And this side bend is going to give you just a little more space. Your baby will take it back, but it'll feel good. Breathe here. Reach with the fingers. Inhale, center. We're going to bring hands onto the mat. Staying here, just checking in. We're looking for that stretch right here, inner thought. Or perhaps you lower elbows down. Relax the head and neck. Breathe into this stretch. Remember, if you lower elbows and then decide it's too deep of a stretch, you come back to hands. And then we'll bring our hands back onto the mat. We'll bring that left knee in. We'll sink back hips to heels. And let's drop that right hip down to the mat. We're going to extend the left leg out to the side. The sole of my right foot is touching the inside of my left leg. And perhaps I'm going to use some props here. So I could place a block on either side of the extended leg. And I could even place a bolster on top of the blocks. I've made myself a table. What we're doing is coming forward, leading with the heart, and I'm looking for this, to let the head relax. You could always use fists to bring the props a little higher. You don't have to use props at all. If you don't have a bolster, you want to just use the blocks, you could do this, and you could do it with hands on the ground. So as we come into this, let's inhale, we'll grow nice and tall. Exhale, turn towards the extended leg. That heart is leading me. I'm folding over the leg, using or not using props, doesn't matter. Right away, you're going to notice big stretch up the back of the extended leg. If that's too much, you bend into the knee. And you'll also notice that you've got a nice stretch on the lower back, on the right side where the leg is bent. Breathing here. So this is why I love this pose, because of that stretch for the lower back. I find there's always tension there, and this is a great way to help get rid of it. Noticing when you're in a pose if you want to come a little deeper. Just as important, noticing if your body's saying, hey, let's back out. That's just listening to your body. Your body is infinitely wiser than I am. I only know what this pose feels like when I do it. I can't imagine how it feels for all of you. So I trust that you're going to make the right decision. Let's go ahead and use our arms. We come up to sitting. Take this left leg and just bring it in front. Inhale, nice tall spine. Take your left hand to your right knee, right hand near right hip. Gentle. We're gently twisting towards the side. So if you are delivered and you want to do a deeper twist and you know a deeper twist, by all means you can do that here. If you're used to yoga prior to pregnancy, we teach you to twist laying on your back. It's a fairly deep, intense twist. In pregnancy, I want you to maintain this range of motion, but I want you to do it gently. No need for really deep torquing twists in pregnancies. They are not recommended. Let's breathe here. And as we inhale back to center, we're going to repeat this on the opposite side. This time we'll extend the right leg, bringing the sole of the left foot to the inside of the right leg. Perhaps again, I'm using my blocks, setting up blocks. Perhaps I'm using a bolster. Take a moment, get everything set up. As we're ready, we inhale and grow tall. Think of that heart leading, my chin stays down, and I'm just folding forward over that extended leg. Remembering that I can bend that knee. I'm also going to have a nice stretch on the left lower back this time. We breathe into this. Your skeleton is different side to side. So it may be that you have one side that feels wonderful, pretty easy. You have one side that feels pretty challenging, and that's normal. Don't let your monkey mind take you on a journey and tell you one side's the good side, one side's the bad side. They're different. I always wish I could magically show everyone what their hips look like, and if you saw your skeleton, you would realize, oh, that's why it feels so different side to side. Checking in, noticing if you want to sink deeper, noticing if you want to back off. I think in our culture, we always encourage people to go deeper. Go to the deepest variation, do the strongest work. But maybe some days, today, if we're looking for peace and relaxation, maybe backing off is going to find the peace and relaxation. Let's all use our hands as we come up. This time we'll bring that right leg in front. We're going to inhale, grow nice and tall. Right hand to left knee, left hand near left hip. Gentle twist, turning towards the left. Nice tall spine. Think of this next time you're sitting and your back is bothering you. Notice, can I do some side bends? Can I twist? Side bends are also very good for low back pain. So pregnancy, your belly's going to pull your spine a little out of its normal anatomical position. And then postpartum, you're picking up a weight that, again, gets bigger every day and holding and taking care of that little one. So you want to take those moments where you can lift tall and you can find some release, whatever that looks like for you. And let's go ahead and inhale back to center. We're just going to come into our final resting pose. It's going to be the same pose we started with. Take your blocks, one on the lowest, one on the second highest setting. Bringing that bolster once again to rest on the blocks. If you are not using any props and you want to move and sit in a comfortable chair or a couch, just something that's going to be comfortable, please feel free to do that. If you want to sit up, you can certainly do that again. Let's once again bring our hips right up to that bolster. Relax back. Remember, even my head is supported by the bolster. I don't want my head hanging off the end. I'm going to let my arms relax. Noticing what feels good for my legs. I'm going to let my eyes softly close. And then we're all going to rest here. You'll stay in your resting position. I'm going to take about 5 minutes relaxing, breathing, simply being present. So gently, fingers and toes move. Perhaps wrists and ankles rotate. If you're in a sitting position, stay there. If you're resting on your back, roll onto your left side and just take a couple breaths here. Move slowly. Use your hands, bring yourself back to sitting. Let's meet with our hands at heart center. Our eyes are softly closed. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.